performance this round to get his season off to the perfect start. But Ross Barr looking very good in morning practice this morning, and he will be looking to cause a bit of an upset here as these two guys give the thumbs up to our marshals and get ready to take to the circuit.
This would vary in the balance. I mean, you have two guys here, rising stars in the sport, looking to make a name for themselves, two immaculately prepared cars. And I'm going to flip a coin on this one. It's going to be down to who holds their nerve on that first corner, I think, as they come through the gears and slam into third gear. Little weight transfer and fire in. Alan Loughlin initiates early, but washes wide, but stays in it. And almost sort of has to pull back a little bit. Wrong line from Alan Loughlin. Sort of went a little too soon on the initiation there. Now has to work of trying to catch Ross Barr through the rest of this course.
Yeah, and I think this is where it's going to really come back to what the judges were talking about in briefing this morning, Dave. And that line that they wanted, big angle though from Ross Barr as he throws it onto the wall in front of the grandstand, sends up the smoke screen to make it difficult for Alan Loughlin to get anywhere near him towards the latter stages of the run. And these two guys...
Well, I mean, the judges have been explaining that, you know, the track that we regularly run in Mondello Park is almost muscle memory to all of these guys now. They've done it so many times throughout practice days and events that it's almost like everyone looks a little bit better than they are sometimes because it's the same initiation all the time. When you switch up that initiation, you put it as a very technical first corner, you're now seeing guys with a little, like, see Alan Loughlin comes in way too hot behind and just comes on the power too late, sort of leaves it a little bit late, transitions very late, and that let Ross Barr get away. And Ross Barr's car is very, very fast. We know that. So once Ross got on the outer line and started to put foot to floor, missed a couple of clipping zones in lead position, which will lose him points in the battle. Look at this lock from Ross Barr, just throws it on 90 degrees there. Not sure if he even intended that, but he got away with it and he got across the line.
Costing him that penultimate clip as well. So, I mean, you know, it's all good.
Not the
well
perfect
good
lead,
putting on the big show, but you got to be hitting those clips as well and getting out.
And remember, the judges weighing heavily on the lead car through that first corner. So we might think, you know, Alan Loughlin made a mistake, but the judges were analysing it, you know, piece by piece, saying, was it Alan Loughlin or was it Ross Barr's line that cost it? And there's going to be a lot of discussion and deliberation throughout the day on that one.
Look, I don't know if Alan O'Loughlin's line was really as bad as it may have looked. I think that wide line is where the judges were almost saying they wanted to see the car in many ways coming into that first corner. So interesting to see what they will have to say at the end of a big dive into that first corner though, and contact. Ross Barr going very aggressive on the rear end of Alan O'Loughlin. As Alan O'Loughlin keeps this one going now, Ross Barr way offline, trying to get himself back into this one and really battling, Dave, just to try and close the gap. Alan O'Loughlin sticking to his guns, takes it nicely onto the wall, riding that wide line as they come back around through the final sections and over the line. A very interesting battle over the two runs. Certainly no clear-cut winner from where I was watching.
No, it's all going to come down to that first corner on both runs. I mean, it looked like Ross Barr went in very aggressive, almost lost control of the car and just clipped the back end of Alan Loughlin. But Alan Loughlin stayed going. It actually affected Ross Barr worse because he had to wait for his transition and he couldn't transition with Alan Loughlin in the way. Judges are going to have a tough time breaking this one down and going through all the pieces of that one. And Alan Loughlin for the rest of the run does a really good job of that wide outside line. Ross Barr comes with a late dive but then falls away again. It's not pretty, and it's a lot of technical mistakes across both runs, and the judges will start deciphering who made the bigger mistakes. Beautiful sunshine here in Mondello Park. From my perspective, this is one of the nicest days we've ever had for drifting. Conditions are perfect. I mean, if you're coming down here on Easter Sunday just to chill, it's the perfect place.
I'm struggling to remember a day where it wasn't sunny in Mondello Park. I mean, last summer we had heat waves.
We'll have a thunderstorm in half an hour if you say that. That's how it works around here.
The rule is if you can see the mountains in the distance, or the hills.
Yeah, it is sort of like the Bermuda Triangle here. You could literally be snowing 10 minutes away and it would be sunny here. So let's see, judges wanting another little replay. Look at this, and Ross Barr goes on big angle and sort of straightens up, and Alan Loughlin's on a very inside line there, so that's what they'll look at. Did he use too much of an inside line through that first corner, and Ross Barr then just playing catch up from that point on? Judges are going to have a good look at that.
You know what, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one maybe go one more time. It just depends on how heavily they weigh on
Ross Barr's over 90 degrees there on entry and then tags the back end of Alan O'Loughlin's car. So.
Yeah, but is he expecting Alan O'Loughlin to be a little bit wider through that first corner?
Could be the case.
And Alan O'Loughlin, of course, misses that third clipping zone quite badly.
Judges explained briefly they didn't want to see the lead driver inside on that inside line or anywhere near it. Alan O'Loughlin was on that inside line now. It's going to be weighing against both to see which exactly is the bigger mistake.
And of course, you and me, Dave, just speculating at this point.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic. We don't have to eliminate anyone.
We will leave here as popular as we arrive.
Everyone hates the people eliminate everyone. We don't just have to. We can speculate all day to our heart's content, but we can't make any decisions. Both drivers wait nervously for the call. Remember, if you do win this, you go to the top 16 main event and parade. If you lose it, you go into the Drift Games Challenge. So it's not all over for anyone that loses at this stage, but they got to come out here and do even crazier stuff later on, which is the real entertainment factor we're bringing to it.
I heard Mark McBurney doesn't want to go into the top 16 because he wants to take on the backwards
He
entry
said he can win the
competition.
backwards entry competition. But there's a lot of guys out there with plenty of lock on it, so that's going to be very interesting to watch later on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to be sort of, the chains are off at that point. It's just for fun. Let's see. So it looks like we have a decision from our judges. And going through to the top 16 is Ross Barr. Ross Barr gets the win and goes through to the top 16. Quickly shoot it back to you guys. Talk us through it. Messy one there on the entry of both runs.
It comes down to the entry on both runs, basically. We say when Ross was leading, you know, he did leave clip one a little bit early and cut into the inside of the track, which makes it difficult for the chase car. And you see that Alan had a bit of an issue with it. And when we swap it around and look at the next run, Alan, though, he comes from clip one, he leaves clip one very, very early and he's right onto the inside of the track. Now, Ross dives on a lot of angle and makes contact, you know. If we look over both runs, on the first run, we scored a 6-4 to Ross on because there was a bit of separation and it was maintained, and the error made by Ross was smaller, we say, than Alan's error in the lead position on the second run. So with a small margin, Ross Barr takes it.
There you go.